Hey guys, what's up? This is Stock Retail coming back to you. Uh, if you are like me, it feels like maybe it's been a bit of a long week. Apes have dealt with, I would say, particularly a lot this week. If you didn't see, Adam got a little more vocal today, and I love it. Check out his tweets. And I had something on my mind, and as we went through, the events of yesterday, the Antara filing, the after hours price action, today's price action, and all the FUD that we see out there, the negativity, attempts to sway us, attempts to dishearten and discourage us. I had told you yesterday I've actually had something a little more, I'll call it inspirational on my mind, something motivating for myself, and I hope it's inspirational and motivating for you. And today, as I was kind of thinking about everything that's going on, it just sort of clicked and came together. And so I thought this was something I wasn't sharing for a little while, but I want to share it with you today. And I want to just talk about the ways in life that we go through hard times and come out the other end. I mean, when you're faced with something hard, you can stop, you can quit, you can keep going. And I want to talk also about what are the sort of the ways that you can stay focused to get to the end of something. And I believe this is maybe going to help not only with everything that I believe we're trying to accomplish as apes, and, heck, the uphill battle we've had to fight corruption and stop corruption in this world. And I feel like that's a valid and worthwhile and noble fight that we're in, and one that I'm not going to walk away from. But also, I hope this can kind of encourage you in life in general. If you're new to my channel, or maybe don't know that I've been on Twitter for 2 years through this whole ape journey, just a quick bit about me that maybe gives you context on some of what I'm going to share here today. And ways that I learned sort of, I'll call it grit or toughness in my life. I think, by the way, that there's a lot of apes that have been through hard things in life, and it's one of the things I think makes us great. There's so many apes who were challenged in life, went through hard times, but overcame and learned to grow tough through it. It's one of the reasons I think Hedgie can't break us, because Hedgie has not been through the stuff that we've been through, and so we're strong. But sometimes you've got to be reminded of your strength, and even reminded on how to lean into that strength. So that's what I want to talk about today. About me, so I'm when I'm real little, my dad moves out of the house, eventually out of the state. My mom is an immigrant mother, no college degree, so I'm raised by a single immigrant mother who has no college degree. And there's a lot about my story that involves the community caring about me, my church community, my neighboring community, coaches, teachers, church people, neighbors. And then I work hard and, fast forward through a lot of my story. I could tell that some other time, but, here I am with now two master's degrees and a loving family and in a very different situation in life. I didn't get there easily. I had a lot of help, don't get me wrong. And that's really important. And in fact, it inspires me and motivates me to pay that help forward and love others. Uh, but there were hard times, hand me down clothes and free food banks, and the church having to buy us a car, and struggling, hearing a parent struggle to figure out whether to spend the last of our money on food or, you know, gas for the car. These are real things that people go through in life, and there's a lot of you who had even harder things than me. Um, but I didn't quit and I kept going. And I want to talk about the ways that we keep going. And if you're, here mostly for DD, you follow me for that, I won't apologize. I feel like this is just something on my mind and on my heart that I want to share. I guess you don't have to watch this video, and hopefully you stick with me and this encourages you. So I want to talk about kind of what I see as sort of the cycle of growth in our lives. The first thing is we're presented with a challenge, and boy, have we seen a challenge these last couple of years. Also, quick aside, if you're, any ape, in fact, I'll go back, doesn't have to be AMC, any ape, if you're retail, in my opinion, you're an ape. And especially if you're retail and you want to stand up against corruption, you're an ape. It doesn't matter if you're in AMC, any ticker where you say enough with the corruption, enough with the manipulation, and enough with the 1% killing all of the rest of us, and basically stealing from our table, then you're an ape. And I hope this will encourage and motivate you. So you face challenge, right? And you can either run away from that challenge, you can quit, or you can decide, I'm going to embark on a journey of growth. And so I hope that's what, you all are experiencing in your life. Certainly, if you've stuck in AMC or some of the other manipulated and beaten down stocks, you've been on a journey. This has been a tough and long journey, and that's okay to acknowledge. That's not FUD, that's not negativity. That's just saying, hey, there's hard days, and there are days we're sick of corruption and we want it to end. But you've committed to the journey and you've been on it. So kudos to you for stepping in there. And as you go through that journey, there's a refinement process that happens. Like, think about a caterpillar that's going through its metamorphosis into a butterfly. It's stuck in this chrysalis, or in this cocoon. And that's not an easy journey. That thing is pushing and struggling and fighting against this constricting space around it. And while that's happening, that does not feel great, I would have to assume. That's difficult and challenging, and it's a lot of discomfort. Or look at this plant that I'm showing you here on the screen and just think of its journey of refinement and pushing and struggling to break through and find the light. But if we'll go through that, that's sometimes what makes us strong. I use this word refinement. Think about pulling dirt out of the earth. And a lot of us really love the idea of finding some gold right now. Especially if you're in AMC and Highcroft can manage to find the win. But to get to that gold, you put that dirt through a refiner's fire. You burn away impurities and imperfections to get to what's good. And so sometimes in life, that's what we go through. And we can kind of despise the challenge, despise the heat, get frustrated and angry at the hardship. But I think if we'll look at it sometimes as, okay, I am being refined, I am growing, I am actually gaining from this process, and we'll lean into that, then we get to this period, we go through that refinement and we get to a period of achievement. And I want to talk about what it takes to stay in that, because I feel like that's where we are as the apes. We're in that challenging, hard, uphill struggle, feel like we're fighting corruption, and we're being given messages daily. Give up, you can't do this, you're going to lose, everyone's against you. There are a lot of hopeless and, let's say, hope-killing messages that are sent our way, and I hope you see that. I hope you see that there is intent to remove hope from your hearts, to convince you to give up the struggle. And I want to talk about what it takes to keep that hope alive. But before I do, I want to just sidetrack a little bit, and I want to talk about the idea of a bad record. So there is a person who owns the record for basically the longest marathon ever by a woman in a major marathon. Would you want to be known as the slowest person ever? Well, I don't know, actually. So there's a woman named Zoe Koplowitz. And if you don't know who she is, go look her up. She's incredibly inspiring to me. She has multiple sclerosis and diabetes. And she took 33 hours and 9 minutes to complete the New York Marathon. And now she's a motivational speaker. She's gone on to complete, I think, like 27 marathons or something like that. And look at what she says. Have a dream. Make a plan. Go for it. You'll get there. I promise. Guys, look at her. Multiple sclerosis is attacking and racking her body. And she said, nuts to that. Give me these crutches. I'm going 33 hours and 9 minutes through the night. That's more than a day, right? I'm on a day and a half. And it might not be easy. And it might not feel good. But I am getting to that dang finish line. And I want you to just think about that kind of attitude. The attitude it takes for someone with multiple sclerosis and diabetes to finish a marathon and go ahead and own a record for taking longer than anybody, but getting to the finish line. Sometimes I talked about that journey. Sometimes you just got to go through it, guys. If you've seen Shawshank Redemption, you know exactly what this image is. Andy Dufresne escapes that prison. And I'm just going to quote here. He has to go through, I'm forgetting now the distance he says, I'll just make it up. He has to go through 400 yards of shit. He goes through, and he has the wherewithal to do it because he has a vision for what's at the other end of that. He has a reason he is not going to quit. and he's in there puking, and it sucks. It's terrible. It's constraining. It's smelly. It's disgusting. It's the worst. So, what got him through that? And the thing is, when you get through it, it tastes all the sweeter, right? You guys have seen that scene. He makes it through and he tears off all those clothes covered with all that refuse, and he just embraces that rain. Well, here's the thing. Remember in that movie, all along, he is dreaming of making it to paradise. He he has that vision all along, and it gets him through years and years of prison, and it gets him through, yeah, a quarter mile of human feces. But it's the vision that enabled him to step into that challenge, and it's the vision that enabled him to keep going with that challenge rather than turn back and fade away and flee. And that's what I want to kind of talk to you about. You need to have vision. You need to know on the days when it's hard, what is it that's going to keep you in? Whether it's keep you in AMC, whether it's keep you in a challenge in life. What is going to help you take the back foot and put it in front, like Zoe Koplowitz, and just keep putting the next step forward and the next step forward and the next step forward? Because there are going to be moments where it doesn't feel good, and there are going to be moments where it doesn't go your way. So how do you have the vision to keep going? And as we think about that growth cycle, a challenge, embracing the journey, being refined, getting to that place of achievement, I want to ask, in your life, where are you being drawn to that? If you're a person of faith, you might be saying, where are you being called to that? Whatever language you want to use. What's the fire in your belly? What's the thought in your brain? What's the stirring in your heart? What's the voice in your head? What is the place in your life where you're feeling challenged for growth? And you're like, I want X to be better. I want Y to be accomplished. I want Z to be changed. Whatever that thing is that you're gnawing on and thinking about, I want you to just grab onto that. And rather than just letting it go and saying, well, maybe I'll think about that another day, someday, 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 life passes while we're somedaying. What are the things that you're being called into growth? And consider that. And so here's the thing. Around that vision, and even here, I will relate this to AMC. Again, if you're in other tickers, if you feel like there's a mission to sort of fight corruption, you need to know your why. And I know that is a little bit cliche. Back in the day, people talked about that all the time. But I do think it matters. And I would actually like to encourage you to find an image that represents that why. Is it a picture of one of your children, your grandchildren, a picture of a place you want to go on vacation when we win? Is it just time you want to spend? Is it just something that represents peace of mind and you want to be done with this insane play that we're in? Look, I can't guarantee we're going to win, but I'll tell you this, I've never stopped believing it. I've never stopped believing we're going to win because I just refuse to accept anything else. And I do, I talk in other videos a lot more about DD and the fact that the DD tells me that the business is turning around. I believe that, so it's not all just hopium. That's what this channel is mostly about, is more hard DD and data and facts. I'm a little bit different today. But there is something that has kept me in this play 2 years. And there are days where I've had to remember why I'm in this, what I'm doing, and what keeps me going. And you're going to need that. And heck, maybe it's just numbers. Maybe you want to see a number in your portfolio. And again, I'm not going to spread hopium. I'm not going to make promises. But I've never lost my conviction and I've never lost my belief. And part of that is being able to picture the end goal, being able to envision a path to it, and never losing sight of that, even on tougher days. So I want you to think about, what is that for you? What is that vision? What is that thing that encourages you, motivates you, fires you up? You know, I've said in one or two videos I played basketball. Um, I was a better runner than a basketball player. I ran too, but I was an okay basketball player. And whenever I got angry, I actually played better. So maybe you're that way. Maybe there's a certain amount of fire you need. So what's the thing that fires you up? And I want you to find an image of that. Just scour the internet, or maybe you've got a picture on your phone. Print it up. Put it on your wall or your desk or your wallet or your car. Put it somewhere you're going to see it. And every time you see it, I just want you to attach the thought of that end vision. Be able to picture whatever you need to accomplish. If it's something in life, if it's something around AMC, whatever we're going to accomplish here, whatever you need to accomplish in your life somewhere else. And when the FUD comes, and when the price manipulation comes, and when the messages of hopelessness come, I want you to go back to that. I want you to be able to say, this is my why. I remember. I don't forget. This is my confidence. This is my conviction. So that the hopelessness and the distraction cannot any longer distract you, cannot sway you or move you. And again, let's be real careful. We are not a cult. Always, always do your own DD and invest based on research, thesis, data, DD. Okay, so I'm just talking about my belief, and you can decide if you disagree with me, my belief that we are in a stock where the DD says one thing and a whole lot of people are invested in trying to tell us something else. And so for me, there is a reason for supporting my own conviction. And if there's a reason for you, I suggest doing this. Think through what is motivating and inspiring to you. And even if it's, forget it, you don't want to do it around a stock, you think I sound weird today, that's okay. Do this somewhere in your life. Think about the thing that might take multiple years to accomplish. And find the motivation to, maybe you just want to parent your children differently. Maybe you want to interact with a loved one differently. Maybe you want to work differently at work. Maybe you want to earn a new degree. Maybe you want to get out of debt. Whatever it is, something big, or you want to deal with past hurts in your life. These are not small things. Find that way that you can put your mind's eye on an end state, so that on the day when it's cloudy and dark and rainy all around you, you're not focusing on the clouds and the dark and the rain. You're focusing on that end vision. There's this saying I like, and it's, without a vision, people perish, or people kind of fade away. You need vision so that on the days of discouragement, you can find your courage. So I'll just leave you with this from Zoe. The race belongs not only to the swift and strong, but to those who keep on running. My commitment in this play is I'm not going to quit running. I believe that about the rest of the apes as well. Hedgie, I hope you're listening, because this is the type of person you're dealing with. You're dealing with the type of people who, metaphorically speaking, will take 33 hours and 9 minutes to run a marathon. Let's go.